Hey guys, it's Dereka with Dereka's Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable Mardi Gras Jester for your wreath attachments. This is a no-sew attachment, so grab your glue guns and let's get going. Alright guys, we are back, and this is the little guy we'll be making today. It is a Mardi Gras Jester type of attachment. He's super cute. Now if you're in the creative coaching group, you might recognize this little face. We made an elf with him last year, and now I have taken that same cute little face and added all the Mardi Gras colors and embellishments and gemstones and just, you know, everything to make him fun. So I really do like to teach my students how to reuse past attachments, and you can update them and change them just a little bit, but this is the way I have managed to do that. He was an elf and now he is a jester. So set that aside. Now, as you can see, this attachment comes with a whole lot of pieces and parts. You have sequin trims, bells, gemstones in the classic Mardi Gras colors. You'll need a little wooden ball or something for the nose. The resin eyes, you can buy these resin eyes by themselves on derekasdesigns.com if you need them. A little bit of felt. This is all the felt we're using for this project. And basically we have swapped out our fabric to use glitter foam. Excuse me, sorry. Glitter foam in all the bright Mardi Gras colors. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now you will need just a little bit of polyfill for this attachment, just for the face, just to give the face a little bit of a 3D effect. But everything else, we're just going to glue straight down to the foam board. Okay? So let's get started. First thing I want to do is we have a lot of pieces on here that have trims on them. I like to go ahead and get all that out of the way first. It's just how I've always done it. So I know that the mask and the little crown both get a gold sequin. And guys, if you don't want to go out and purchase all of these items, because it's a lot, this particular attachment does have a lot of pieces and parts to it. You can go to derekasdesigns.com, and we do sell these kits. The kit comes with everything you see here except for the polyfill for inside the face, but you have to download the pattern and the supply list and all of those things in the Creative Coaching Members University, the portal that is used for the creative coaching. So you can purchase the kit, but if you want the pattern to know what to cut, how to cut everything out, you must be a member of the creative coaching team or the WAM group. The WAM group, the Wreath Attachments and More group, is my paid subscription group where I teach members how to make no-sew attachments like this, and also sewn attachments. We do quite a bit of sewing in there because sometimes I feel like an attachment just needs to be sewn. So I'm not a big fan of legs and arms that are not sewn. It's possible, but I prefer to sew them. So right now we're just going to go ahead and add our gold glitter to the outside of this mask. There we go. We just trimmed that little piece off at the end. And now I'm going to add the eyes. Now during the process of making this little guy, I have always used the eyes. They kind of look off in the same direction. It's very cute, but then we changed it around. I had Ollie go in and make them look face straight forward. So if you order the Jester eyes, you will get the eyes that are face forward, not the eyes looking to the side. I just liked the way they looked better. So I'm just going to put, you don't need to super glue these in. I'm just putting a little line of glue at the top and a little line of glue at the bottom. And we're going to take the eye and we're just going to fit it in there. It should be just big enough to fit right over the opening. Like that. You see how I did that one? I'll zoom in so you can see this next one here. So I put a little bit of glue just right at the very edge here at the bottom. I take the eye, kind of make sure it's, you know, straight up and down, not sideways. I just set it on right there, and you can kind of look to see that they're remote, sort of even. But honestly, once you flip it over, it really doesn't make too huge of a difference. Oops, I just knocked that one off. So a little bit more glue, right back on there. Flip it around. Now we're going to glue this to the face, so you don't have to super glue the eyes in. So now we're going to add this to our crown. So really, all we're going to do is put a line of glue along this. Again, it doesn't have to be super glued because we're going to super glue it to everything when we're done. But right here, you just want this, basically you just want a little bit of glue on there to hold it in place, just like that. Okay, so that is the face piece. We can put the little gemstones on now or later. I'll just, oops, you can't see what I'm doing. I have these little gemstones here. Let's just go ahead and put them on so we can have this part finished. The kits come with one of each color, green, purple, and gold. So just throw them on there. Whatever, just however you want to. If you want to get your own gemstones, if you live in an area where you can get this stuff, you know, pretty easily, that's great. I had to try to find these in the middle of November. It wasn't the easiest. And so, you know, I got what I could. And these little, I would prefer them to be much bigger, but what can I do? You know, I'm limited on supplies here. So that's okay though. All right, so this is our, basically the back, this big egg shape back here. It's where everything is going, it's the base, it's what I would call the base, it's what everything is going to stick to, or be stuck to. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my pipe cleaner. This one's already bending on me. It does not matter, guys, what color pipe cleaner. I did have somebody message me that they received a black pipe cleaner instead of a white one, and I just thought, well, nobody's really going to see it. So it really, I mean, black is fine. But you're going to attach more pipe cleaners to it to attach it into your wreath anyway. So this is something that I like to do, and it's just out of habit here. When I have a base like this, I go ahead and add my pieces on. I, you know, just kind of eyeball it to where it's relatively straight. I just draw lines. And this just helps me to see exactly where everything is going and make sure when I go to glue these on that they're going to be good. So I actually need, oh, that's perfect actually right there. So those are going to go like that, and then this one's going to come in on top of that. So it's going to be very layered and very stacked up. So I like to draw the line mostly because if we were going to cover this whole thing with felt, we would know we could glue this up here because we want to glue these down. But since we're going to have the bottom down here, okay, I just like to have the line there. It just helps me visualize after when I have the face and I'm going to glue this face part down, I can make sure I get it nice and even. So, oops. So we will use our first piece of felt here. This is the face piece. And we are going to stuff this. So we're just going to take I'll grab the bigger glue gun, and all we're going to do is go around, make sure it's centered, and just fold this up. Now we're going to leave this top portion open because that's where we're going to stuff it from. I always like to leave the flattest edge of a project open, and that's where we put the stuffing in, the polyfill. Now you can use quilt batting on this if you wanted to. You would just glue the quilt batting to the other side of this foam board and put the felt over it. Same way, but for this particular one, I'm going to use polyfill and we're going to stuff it. So did you see how I just kind of put it, glue all the way around, but this section here is still open. Made a pita. Looks like a pita, doesn't it? So now we will place these in here. I just use my hands kind of, and I use my left hand here to just kind of feel where everything is going, make sure there's no holes, make sure there's no gaps, spread it out. You can use a dowel with this, but the opening is big enough that really it's easier to use your hands. So I want his face to be pretty stuffed because I'm going to put 2 layers of foam board at the top for the crown and for the hat, so it's going to need to be, you know, stuffed pretty well. Okay, so you have all of that, and now you have this big giant opening. For me, oops. Now, if you put too much polyfill in there, and if you don't have enough felt to pull over, you can easily just pull out some polyfill. Sometimes I get a little overzealous here, so pull out some polyfill, and that will allow you to pull the felt over much easier. And then, of course, I always glue in the middle first, and then I hold that. I want that to hold very securely. And then I work on the sides. That just keeps everything even and lined up. And I go over and I work on the sides. Now this whole piece will be glued down to the back of our base, or the front of our base, excuse me. So you don't have to be really precise about it. Just get it covered the best you can. I like to trim these little corners off. Just like that. So you just have a covered face like this. If you made the elf last month, it's basically the same face. Okay, so I'll have that there. We'll go ahead. I include in the kits a little 1-inch ball. It's half of a 1-inch ball. Makes a cute little button nose on him. And we just wrap it in the same color felt. What I do is I just take my glue gun and I just make a few very light circles, and then I spread all that out. If you leave globs of glue on this, it's going to show through once you push it onto the wooden nose. So you want it to be very light, and you're just going to put a few circles and then just spread it out with the nozzle or the tip, whatever it's called. And then I go back and I put a little bit more around these edges so that it glues all the way to the edge, kind of all the way around it. I haven't put any glue in the middle, so I can put my thumb in there, and then I just close it up. Just try to close it around as best as you can, all the way around. When you cut this off, you don't want there to be a bunch of stuff sticking out. So I'm actually going to add just a little bit more glue right to the ends. I'm going to do like an inside line here, right there. Sorry, so you can see it's just an inside line of glue, and then once again I'm going to just fold it up like a little dumpling. And just get the felt to adhere to that, and then go back, grab some scissors, and I just start cutting all of these little edges off. And then hold it over. And if there's anything that just looks like it's sticking out just a little bit, if you have any really sharp little scissors like this, you can kind of trim them off. Okay, so there we have our nose. Okay, so we have our mouth. The same mouth we used for the elf. So if you have that pattern, you still have this. Now you are welcome to just draw on a mouth. You do not have to use this. I like to do different things in my tutorials to teach different techniques. And if you wanted a felt, this little guy can handle a nice big mouth. It doesn't look awkward on him. Now the ears, on the patterns, I say to cut 4 of them. I don't like one piece of felt is very floppy. It doesn't hold up. So I glue 2 of the pieces together. So that's all I've done with these, is I've glued 2 pieces together. And then what I do is I go back and I trim them to make sure they're even and they line up. And I would normally, I used to have a little brown Sharpie. Actually, it was a light brown Sharpie. And it is Jasper's absolute most favorite thing to get on my desk, and he finally got it and killed it. So, as you can see here, I've just very lightly drawn on little ear swirls. I mean, they're not really obvious, but it just gives the ears a little bit of dimension, but I wouldn't recommend using a black one. It's just a little too dark, and you could use a makeup pen if you had a brown eyebrow pencil or something. That would work as well. I just didn't have anything handy, and next time I run to the store, I will get another light brown Sharpie, just because I like the way it looks on there. Okay, so now we have ears. And then, of course, this has our eyes in it, so you can kind of see how it's coming together. So we're going to set these aside. We don't want to put these on just yet. We want to go ahead and assemble our pieces, but first we have to do all of this glitter foam. If you've not worked with glitter foam, it is very easy to work with, but it will melt under the hot glue, so you have to be just mindful of that. Do not put big globs of glue on it. Now you're going to need 2 of these pieces and then 1 of this piece, and you can have it facing, you can have the little bell hanging off either direction. Really does not matter. I'm going to have it going this way. So I want my bell to hang off this way, like this. Put my fabric or my foam right side up and then flip it over. That way you don't accidentally put it on backwards. So now I know I need to glue this side to my foam. You do not need a lot of glue. This is not going anywhere. Don't think you have to cover every section of it. As long as you get a line of glue here and a couple lines of glue there, you're good. Okay, we're gonna let that one cool. Okay, and when you're cutting out these pieces, it doesn't matter if you're orange or you're purple or gold. It doesn't not matter what side they're on, as long as you have one going each direction. So be mindful of that when you're cutting things out. Now this, of course, you cut 2 of these and you can use either one, but you have to have 1 purple and 1 gold going in either direction, or it's not going to work. You can't flip it around, guys, okay? So be mindful of that when you're cutting your fabric out. Even if you have to lay out your pieces like this, and say I hadn't cut this purple or this gold one yet, I would lay my pieces like this, and then I would flip it over, draw my pattern out, and that way I know for sure, because guys, even I was making one and I cut 2, purple and the gold go in the exact same direction, and you can't do anything with that. I mean, you just had to make another one. So you can't fix it. It's once you do that, it's pretty much gonna stay that way. So all you can do is make another one and have them going the opposite direction, the opposite. Now these ones, because we're using foam, What I did on this is, you see how I butted this, I didn't even leave an overhang on here. And that's because these two are going to join together. So you don't really need, and then this one's going to go on top of it. So I didn't do an overhang on this part because it was just a waste of foam and felt and everything else. So when you cut out the pattern is made for you to put this at the very edge. Okay, see how I have a nice oops, that's a little high actually. All right, let's fix it. See how, I mean, I've got a good ½ inch everywhere but here where I just moved it too much, which is, it'll be fine, I'll make it work. So these two are going to butt up against each other. So I didn't want to have overhang and bulk in the middle of this line right here. So we just did it straight like that. Okay, so as with any other no-sew design, just like if you're using fabric, I always start in the sharp curves. Y'all, if you could see, I've got a cat who's chasing something over here. He's just trying to play. He thinks it's playtime. Alrighty, Otis. Hey, buddy, you okay? He's jumping up shelving. He's just being silly. Okay. So what I've done, it's easier. I've cut it, and then I cut just a few little pieces in there to try to make it easier to kind of pull the foam around. Now the foam will rip, guys. It will tear. So try to go a little easy with it, okay? Don't pull it like you would pull felt. It's not gonna, you can't make the foam be perfect around all these curves. All you can do not pull it. I go from the underside, I stick my finger up and I push it over like that. And then you can come over the top with your thumb and just really hold it down. But don't pull it. If you tear it off, again, there's really not much you can do. You can't really fix it. It'll still look cute from the front, but your back is going to be, you're going to see white on the sides. So just holding it down over here. I'm just going to use my thumb and just kind of push it through. My thumb is not working. Don't pull them. Just use your finger to like just roll it and hold it down. Now on the front, you can see it makes a nice opening here, even though it looks kind of unfinished on the back. So I'm going to add a little more glue there where it's sticking up. I have one little section that stuck up. Otis, what are you doing? He is so playful right now, guys. And then we're going to go all the way down. And you notice I didn't put a whole lot of glue on there. Go all the way down this side. Now also, when you put the hot glue on this foam, it becomes very pliable. It almost becomes like a little bit of a clay. It's very moldable. So let me cut this end off because it's a lot. So, you know, if you do put too much glue on there, you're going to have like a little wad of foam glue or foam gum. I guess, I don't know what to call it. Now, you don't have to worry about this little end down here. You want it kind of to be pointed. So, I'm going to trim, oops. I'm going to trim some of this away just so it doesn't get in the way. And then see how that's kind of open like that? It's got a big opening. I'm just going to put some glue in there and I'm just going to squeeze it. And from this side, it's just going to look like a point. But I'm not going to try to fold it up over the foam board because it'll just crease and it probably won't look great. So that's all I'm doing. So see, from the front, it just looks like a point. From the back, you know, you just closed up that little edge right there. And this one is kind of long, so I'm going to trim it down just a little. I need to have room for my bell in there. I need to make sure I can hang the bell right there and it's not going to get hung up on anything. Okay, so now we're just going to work all the way around the outside. Okay, so then so now we're going to get the other pieces. We're going to kind of do the same thing with them. You're just going to go all the way around. You will need to put, in this curve here, you're going to need to put a few little snips in there just so that you can get it to go around the curve. So however many you need. So those 3 pieces are done. So now we're going to start assembling. First piece I'm going to put on is our face. And we just go, I don't go all the way to the edge on this, guys, because when I set it down, it's going to spread out a little. So I'm just going right, and then I'll put a bunch of squiggles right in the middle. And then we're going to check our lines here and make sure we're covering all the way. The best way to see that is to flip it over. Make sure you're covering and none of the foam board is showing through anywhere, like down here. And then put these 2 on. So same thing. I'm going to glue this. If I try to glue this, I may go over and I'll end up with glue all over where you don't want it. So I'm just going to put glue on the bottom piece, on the base piece, and then stick this thing on there like that. And do the other side. And what I do is I just kind of push it all together. I kind of push these down so that they line up here with the face, you know, nice and even. And there we go. Just like that. I'm going to take this piece, which I'm going to go ahead and glue. I know I can glue about up to here and then a little bit on this over here. So I'm not going to go too high with it though. We don't need to glue every square inch of it. Just enough to hold. You just want to hold it on there. You want to put some on the little tip over here. But you don't need a ton of glue, guys. And now we just look for the center. Just, if we have about a 1/2 inch on the left side, a 1/2 inch on the right side, you're probably close to center. Just hold it down. Okay. So you can see on the back, kind of looks like little bat wings back there. You can cover all this too when you're done. If you want to use, like, say, this color felt or just any color felt just to cover it, you can. The kits does not include all the backside felt, but you are more than welcome to. You basically just cut a nice big piece of felt and just start gluing it down to cover everything. Cover all the little pieces. So. All right, oops, we forgot the ears. I did this last time. If you forget, like me, normally I would glue these ears between the face and the board. That's why I leave this little extra length thread there. I would have glued it onto the face and put it in the board. Now, it's okay if you forget, like me, because trust me, it's not hard for me to forget all the little things. I cut off that little bitty piece. I just cut it off. And then I glue it directly onto right where I would have put it before. Just glue it directly on. You guys can't see that, I'm sorry. I'm just gluing it directly onto the foam board. And there's just a tiny little bit of the face hanging over. It's probably not even 1/8 of an inch, but it's going to hold it right there. See? You don't have to add a whole lot of glue to it. Yeah, you can tell I've forgotten before because I figured out how to make this work. Put a line of glue on that area and then just stick it right where you would want it, right on the back of the foam board. And then I just use my fingernail or a pair of scissors or something, kind of hold it down in there. See, there's just the tiniest bit of overhang of the face, and that little area is where I'm kind of getting this at. So there, so all I had to do is trim it down a little bit. The ears are fine, they are not going anywhere. Now we can put on, oops, our little crown. I like to center it. I want to make sure that these are fairly centered on the side. Now, if you go too high with it, you'll be able to see the glitter behind the eyes. You do not want that. You only want to go where you're going to see the white behind the eyes, or the felt behind the eyes, okay? So, and again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this corner over here, and I'm going to hold it down like that. We're just going to do this a little bit at a time. I could flip it over, glue the whole thing, and put the whole thing down. And you can do that if you're very confident about where you're going to put it and placing it where you want it to be. You absolutely can do that. But I'm just showing you how you can just do a few pieces, do each little section, and then hold it down instead of doing the whole thing. And then possibly if you set it too low, then you try to move it higher, you're going to have all this visible glue down here. So for me, I like to just do a little piece at a time. And it also keeps you from putting glue in places you don't need it. So I'm going to go back, and I realize only 3 of these little triangles on this crown actually touch. These ones here hang off the end, so we don't need glue on those. We're going to glue those 3. And I just put, you know, a couple globs of glue on the back, not a lot. And you can see it in his little eyes. As I stated before, if you order the kit, the eyes will be facing forward. These ones are the ones that face to the side. I had them, so I just used them. All right, so now we had made our little nose. Get it? We're going to put glue on the back side. Just like that. And we're going to nestle it up right into the little nose area there. Get some hot glue strings in there. We're going to stick it right there in that little spot so it looks as though the mask is sitting on the nose. Okay. And then our mouth. Again, covered with glue strings. Kind of figure out where you want it. And I'll just look at it and move it around and put it lower, higher, whatever. I think I like it right there. So I'm going to use my trick that I always show you guys. Use these 3 fingers to hold the item down, and with your thumb and your forefinger, lift it up so that you can put a little bit of glue back here. That way, when you let go with your thumb and forefinger, it's going to fall right where you had it. Again, you can put glue all over the back of it, and if you're comfortable with where you place it, then you can do the whole thing. But for me, I'm not. So I like to do just, at least for the first half, I like to make sure it's going to glue to the right place before I just start throwing glue back there. Okay, look at him. He's almost ready. Now, if he had the little lines on the ears, I think they definitely stand out. I do like the way the brown on the ears, so I might grab a pen or something, try to write something on there. Okay, let me see if I can find my pliers here. Okay, so we're going to use pliers. Now, if you wanted to, you could glue this bell directly to this edge right here. Absolutely. It's not going to be, see how I like them to be jingly. I like them. They're not moving. I mean, they're sturdy in there. This one's a little bit looser, but I like them to jingle. And sometimes when you glue them, you end up gluing the little ball inside too, and you can't unglue it. So I'm going to do this the hard way. You are more than welcome to just glue your little bells right to the end. Don't feel like you have to do this my way, but I'm just going to take a piece of wire and put a little hook on the end, like a little fish hook. place the bell on it and then close that. So this is just optional. You do not have to do this, but I wanted to show you if you wanted it to dangle. And what I do, I'm closing this wire around that handle. This is a little long, so I'm going to cut off about half of it. Because we're just working with foam here. Now we can take this and push this wire up into the end. So just to make it more secure, I'm going to throw a dot of glue in there. I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to push it right into the foam board. If it pops out, like this one just popped out in the back, I'm not too incredibly worried about it because it's the back. But see, now in the front, you have a jingly bell. And it's upright and it looks, you know, it looks cute. So we'll try this again. We're going to take this, make it like a fish hook, throw a bell on there, close it up. Again, it's too long, so we're going to cut some of that off. Put some glue back there, and then push our bell through that glue into the foam board. So now, like this one actually dangles just a little bit. And that's what I like. I like it to dangle. I like it to have movement, or at least have sound. You know, I like the sound of the bells. And when you glue them down, it does inhibit the sound of the bell as well. I like them to be free. Okay, last one. This is, my little fish hook is way too long, so I'm going to cut off part of that. Then I'm going to just squeeze this together so that, you know, like a Christmas ornament, you know, you don't want it falling off your tree, so you really clamp it down. Let's see. Now this one, you just have to kind of feel your way around back here. Put a dot of glue, maybe back where you can't see it. Place the wire and just push it. Just push it into the foam board like that. And don't mess around. Just push it in. This one is not going to dangle as much. It's just going to be right there. So we're going to leave that thing. But that is it, guys. So that is our adorable little Jester. We turned an elf into a Jester. And you can use this in your wreaths, in your, this would be really cute above a doorway, in your swags, if you do the big garlands around the doorway. You can add so much more to this. Once Mardi Gras gets closer, there's going to be so much more available, especially on places like Deco Exchange will have lots of Mardi Gras things. I think they may already do now that I've done ordering. And then, you know, gemstones, feather boas. Go to craftoutlet.com. They have a mardigras.com sister store that they have tons of Mardi Gras stuff. So anyway, that is him. You have your pipe cleaners in the back to attach him. And he's ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this one. And if you need anything, never hesitate to contact me at derekasdesigns@yahoo.com or info@derekasdesigns.com. And if you need anything, if you want to purchase the kit, you can always go to derekasdesigns.com. All right, guys, you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.